Burns. Kent State travels to Western Michigan for a 3:30 kickoff, Kalamazoo this Saturday. Coach, you want to make an opening statement? We'll open up for questions.
Yep. Obviously, disappointed in the loss. We've got to continue to get better. Got to continue to work at the things that we're deficient in. Got to raise our floor. As more guys go down, guys have got to step up and be ready to play. Was encouraged by the response of our defense in the second half. I was encouraged by the run game that we got going this week. Got to keep it going. And then we just got to make sure we have answers in the pass games to different things that we might not see on tapes. But thinking ahead as teams try to defend Krishan and Luke in that sense. But still encouraged by our football team and its growth. Obviously, you're judged on your wins and losses, and I understand that. But in the same breath, I know that we're in this for the long haul as a coaching staff and to build something that is sustainable. And those guys I've got an experienced coaching staff, blessed to have that. And those guys are working diligently to help build this thing up and get it to where it needs to go. But we're obviously not there yet. And we have a good challenge this week against Western Michigan to show growth and continue to get better. With that being said, open up for questions.
Yeah, Coach Rob Polinsky here. Wanted to ask you a little bit about, the defense. You had mentioned you liked what you saw in the second half. Looking at the numbers, a lot better. You had the same amount of plays they ran in the second half as the first half, and yet you only gave up 122 yards and one score. Was there anything you guys did differently in the second half, or was it just a matter of getting after them a little bit?
We got after him a little bit. We didn't change the scheme. We didn't do anything different. I thought the guys, they played with a good motor and they got to the ball. We swarmed. We just did a better job. I thought in the first half, there's about 3 plays. On defense, I actually thought we played a solid game. Honestly, in the first half, there's about 3 plays where we blow a coverage and they get a 55-yard one there, and then we bite on a play action and we cut number 0 free, and he gets another explosive play. So other than that, it was the first drive they threw a scheme at us that we didn't see on tape. That was a good scheme, a trap scheme, and it broke out. And then the defense came and responded the next 3 plays and got off the field. So we talked about starting fast. I thought they did that. I thought they accelerated in the middle. It's just a couple plays here and there we gave up with youth and at the corner position, and we got to get better and learn from it. But I was encouraged by our defense's performance, and I think they've got to build on it and get better.
Can you talk about Kai's performance offensively, his best game for KSU, the running game overall much better? Was part of that reason that's what BG was giving you? Did they take away some of the passing game to enable you to run? Or can you just talk about the improvement of the running game this week?
Yeah, we probably a little bit of both. They gave us a little bit more in the run game than we've seen before, but also I think we as a coaching staff were much more diligent in finding creative ways of what our old line does well. There's always say there's plays you can throw on a board, but then there's things that your group does well. And as a coach, your job is to find out what that is and really put them in position to do that. If it's different formations, different schemes, we got in some different sets that people hadn't seen on tape quite yet, stuff that I'm familiar with in the past. And, I was a little bit more involved this week in the run game than I had been. But I think it's a credit to the kids and them believing in what we were doing and going out there and executing it for sure. But we got to grow on it. I think the biggest thing that I learned in that game was just situational football. We had some advantageous situations that we didn't capitalize on. You look in the red zone, we get down there twice and get 3, not 7. They got 7. That's huge. We got to score touchdowns in the red zone. We got to stay above the sticks. I think we did a good job of keeping our defense off the field in the first half, not in the second half. And we got to be balanced. We got to be able to run the ball and then throw the ball when they give us the throws. Then you look at the defensive side of things. We call it backed up coming out inside the 10. We had 2 advantageous situations where we didn't keep them there. If we keep them there, then we flip the field, and now we've got really good offensive position. So there's things with situational football that we talk about every single week that we didn't execute very well, and we've got to be more diligent in coaching it and then executing it.
Moving ahead to this week, Western Michigan, only undefeated team in league play, and coming off 48-point offensive performance against Western or against Buffalo. What can you tell us about the Broncos and just a little bit about this matchup?
Yeah, they're a complete football team. They've done a great job in the transfer portal, getting some really good players. They've got resources that have helped them get those players that made them really good. Starting with their quarterback Hayden Wolf, a guy that we were after in the portal as well. Brought him on campus, knew he was really talented. He is not disappointed there. He's a very, very gifted quarterback. He's got one of the best completing percentages, over 1,000 yards, 12 TDs. 15 rushes. He's done a great job, So he's a good player. And then they've got two really good tailbacks that are doing a really good job. That one was, I believe, a freshman of the year last year, or something like that. But they just got two kids that can run the ball behind a really good old line. And then defensively, again, transfers scattered all over the place that have come in and done a really good job for him. Donald Willis is a guy I'm familiar with. Was at Minnesota. A guy that is a very talented linebacker, and they got some other kids as well that are really good players. So Lance has taken the approach of going into the portal and getting some really solid players with what they've had, and they've developed well in this short period of time. So impressive bunch, and got a lot of respect for Coach Taylor. Known him for a while now. Similar backgrounds, running back coach who's getting his shot to be a head coach and doing a really good job with it.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Hi, Coach. Coach, I just want to, going back to last week, it looked, I wanted to ask you this after the game, it looked like they took away a lot of Tommy's first reads and then got him off his spot because, they really come after the quarterback. When you took a look at the film, were they taking away Tommy's first read quite a bit during the game last Saturday?
I wouldn't say they were taking it away. I think Tommy felt a little bit of pressure at times, and he escaped the pocket probably sooner than we wanted him to. Then I think also Tommy's got to trust his protection too. I think one thing about a quarterback, when you start to you start anticipating pressure, and you can't do that. You've got to sit back there and trust your O-line and trust the pocket that you've got, and keep your eyes through your progression. And we didn't do a great job of that this week. We didn't do a great job of coaching it, obviously, and then we didn't do a good job of executing that. So Tommy's got to relax in the pocket and trust his O-line and take what the defense is giving him. Because a couple times I think we created sacks. O-line gets credited for all these sacks, but sometimes we created sacks by escaping and putting them in harm's way, and we just got to hang in there.
Coach, you talked about inside the 20. Do you have a set package for inside the 20, or is it are you narrowing some things down from what you use in mid between the 20s? What's the philosophy once you get inside the 20?
Oh, we've got a package for once we're inside the 20 to basically the 13-yard line. Then we got one inside the 13 to the goal line. So yeah, we've got a whole script of plays, things we do that we got to. I think the first one you look at it, there's a 1st and 10 going in. We get Krishan isolated. There's a little bit of tug. You can argue that they pass interference, but he's one-on-one. We got everything we want. They did what we thought they'd do on tape. We didn't hit the throw and catch. So there's stuff there that players got to make plays, and they got to take advantage when they're in those situations. And then the second one, we got behind the sticks. We can't get behind the sticks. First down, we ran the ball, got 4 yards. Second down, now we got sacked, and now we're in 3rd and long again, which, again, your chances of completing 3rd and longs are not high, definitely when you're down there, just because of you're running out of real estate. So they can play more aggressive as a defense. So there's things like that kind of got us out of rhythm that we've got to do a better job of staying in rhythm. But we definitely have packages, things for when we get inside of what we call the green zone, money zone, and then we call the tight green 12-yard line in as well. So we spend a lot of time on that. We spend a lot of time on that and 3rd down because we know those are kind of money situations as an offense. But we've got to execute. We've got to execute at a high level, and we've got to understand that the pitcher can change. And when the pitcher changes, you've got to adjust your rules, principles, whatever you have on that play. And we didn't do a great job of that on Saturday.
Jumping ahead to Western, Coach, I think I looked. I think this team has 9 takeaways in the last 2 games. Is this a team that forces takeaways, or are they just in the right place at the right time?
They do a good job of forcing takeaways. They find the ball. They got a knack for the ball. I always think like turnovers happen in kind of like big drops. You typically you smell blood in the water, and then you start attacking it, and then you feel like you got 1 turns into 3, turns into 5. So it's something that you get in rhythm with. I thought we did a really good job at the beginning of the year in it, but then we've kind of had a couple stale games of not getting turnovers, and they've caught in rhythm here of late, with getting turnovers. So we got to protect the ball. We know that going in. I think challenge Tommy on being better with the ball, making better decisions with the ball, and not making a bad play worse. We can't give them a freebie, is what I call it. And, I thought in that game we were better with the ball. I know we had the turnovers late, which is going to happen when you're trying to play catch up. But, we've got to continue growing in that area as we play the Broncos.
I listened to their coach talk about complementary football, and I know that's something that you talk about quite frequently. And I think that in their last several games that they're happy with the balance between the offense and defense, and they really kind of have a two-headed monster running the football at you and a good quarterback. How do you approach that defensively?
Yeah, the best defense is a good offense. I believe that. We got to protect them and play complementary football. I thought we were getting in that rhythm a little bit last game in the first half. We got to get off the field on defense, obviously, but then we got to protect and have methodical drives on offense. I think people look at stats sometimes, they see high numbers and they think you're doing something great. Well, a lot of times when you got high numbers and stats, you're playing catch up, or you're blowing the team out, and that doesn't necessarily always equal complementary football. And we've got to play time of possession ball, and definitely against an offense of this, which I think is the best offense in our league. We got to keep them off the field, and we got to make sure we get first downs. We have explosive plays, we break some tackles, and we execute touchdowns in the red zone. And I think that's the biggest thing against this team that we're playing. Lance has done a really good job of putting his pieces in good situations to make plays, and he's obviously a running back guy, so he believes in running the ball. And we got to be good at what we do this week and understand the game plan going in, and then execute at a high level.
Thanks, Coach. I don't mean to correct you, but you said tug on the jersey. He had a handful of Krishan's jersey from the view that I had. So I would concur with that. So thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else? All right, Coach, you want to make a closing statement?
Nope, I appreciate the coverage. Go Flashes, King Grip.